Well, this time I'd like to do a video about interactive visions that I had in 2007 when I woke up and researching the truth online and questioning reality and using out-of-body travel, making contact with etheric entities, Isasen and Shitara, and opening up totally to what is going on. I had visions, or interactive visions, of galactic wars and also universal wars. In our galaxy, according to these visions that I had, and I've seen it, it was maybe a higher frequency based dimension, but I saw these entities. There was a pan-galactic war going on between the Drako Empire, the so-called reptilians, the reptilian Anunnaki, and the Aldebaranic Aryans, the so-called Nordic aliens from the star system of Aldebaran. These were two huge empires actually, or one kingdom, the Aldebaranic Empire, and the kingdom, the Draconian Empire. The Drakos wanted to enslave everybody in this galaxy. There are multiple races, multiple ET life forms. The entire galaxy is full of life. You have to know that it is a full of life galaxy, and there's trade, there is interstellar flight, there's everything that you can think of, pretty much like in Star Trek and even more, is in this galaxy. There are civilizations that have massive space travel, there are civilizations that still don't have massive space travel or superluminal travel, and so on. But there was a war going on in between the Drako Empire, the so-called Draconian or reptilian Anunnaki, the reptiles, and the Aldebaranic Aryans. And there was a standoff here, apparently here in orbit. I don't know which time frame it was. These visions are actually timeless and could be the future or the past, I don't know. And there were negotiations going on between the Aldebaranic Aryans and the Drako Empires. There was the Drako Queen was there, the daughter of the Queen was in a ship in orbit, and also there were Aldebaranic or Nordic aliens, the so-called Nordic Aryans. They were also in orbit, and they were debating the terms of surrender or terms of peace, I don't know. And this war was going on since thousands of years. So what happened then was that, the reptilian race got totally biologically obliterated, because this war was going on since thousands of years, and they would never ever stop fighting and enslaving the worlds in this galaxy and expanding their empire. So God himself practically intervened and used practically a tool to obliterate them totally, biological dissolution. I had visions of their ships just drifting through space without any reptiles in it, draconians. And everybody was flabbergasted that this was actually possible. But a day later they were practically happy, or as they satisfied that it happened, because they said literally, we're better off without them. They were really fearsome entities, apparently also eating other people or other races. They were meat-eating or cannibalistic lizards. These were a reptile race that existed in our galaxy. Nevertheless, I also had visions that these reptiles got freed in the process by being destroyed, and they got resurrected. These visions that I had was always of destruction and resurrection, because the race was actually also a created race by God, but they were so controlled under the evil demonic entities that they could not live in freedom. So in the higher frequency based dimensions now, these reptilians actually exist, coexist with other entities without harming them, being free. Yeah, I had many visions back then. That was the Galactic War. I don't know how long it took the war, probably thousands of years until it ended. Well, I saw the vision ending in 2007. I don't know if it really ended in 2007, it might be time independent, so it might be the future or the past, but nevertheless I saw their end and the liberation of this entire galaxy from their oppression and their tyranny, actually, because they brainwashed and mentally enslaved all entities in the galaxy, and there was a federation of allies actually who fought them. And the Aldebaranic Aryans were practically the leading ET life force fighting these Drakos. A second vision that I had was also pretty incredible. I saw the entire universe, but as a whole. And the parts in red were controlled by Kali, or the Whore of Babylon, and the parts in blue were controlled by the so-called rebels that wanted to live in freedom. But this time it was the entire universe. I've seen that. It was pretty amazing actually to see it with your third eye, or see it actually happen. But there was, by this small minority of galaxies actually, that fought for their freedom. It's just the same pattern. It repeats itself over and over again. There's always a minority that wants to be free of the enslavement of Kali, or the Whore of Babylon, or the devil, or whatever you may see as evil. The dark evil forces control by deception, control by brainwashing, control by conditioning and mind control. So this pattern repeated itself over and over again in the galaxy, here on the planet Earth. A small minority wanting to be free, the Imperial Germans, as an example, knowing the truth. And the grand majority of the population totally controlled, brainwashed. So up there, it was even larger. It just repeated itself, the pattern, throughout the entire universe. And in the huge universe, they built a universal super weapon, and I saw it like in this space station or super weapon. It was huge compared to the ships. This is probably a capital ship, and the weapon was like as bigger than a planet, and it was huge. And it was a universal super weapon built over hundreds, if not longer, hundreds of years. And I saw an entity like, like Darth Vader, like from Star Wars. He had also this black respirator on and all that stuff, and he was bowing down in front of a light, talking to, well, the Lord, I don't know, Jesus Christ or an entity. So. Well, I was talking about this Darth Vader type entity that was bowing down to a light and saying, "My Lord, we have finished the work of the ages." And then out of the light came this entity, a young man, Aryan also, and he says, "We have no time to waste. We have to initiate the super weapon." And the super weapon was designed to target all worlds in this 80% universe controlled by Kali, or the Whore of Babylon. And then one of the commanders or generals said that we cannot do this. We are going to kill our own brothers and sisters, you know, that is not possible. Then I saw them, then this leading figure went there and said, "Well, we will have to go to the planet and check out for ourselves." And they went onto the planet and they looked at the people there, and Kali, or one of the women that was one of her manifestations, it repeats itself over the universe, looked at us, well, at them, or I saw it from a third person perspective, like I was with them, and all of these entities looked at us and said, and Kali said, "Kill those bastards, kill those bastards." You just imagine a zombie movie where 80% of the universe is practically controlled zombies, but really controlled under her power. And this was practically a proof that we cannot liberate these people or entities in the universe, and that the super weapon had to be initiated. So then I had the vision then occurred, the movie, the interactive movie or whatever went on, back into the super weapon, the station. Just imagine the Death Star, but even bigger, yeah? Into the station, and I saw an Android type like data, like from Star Trek. I always had an overlay of, so I do not see it really. So if you look at it really, then you have the coordinates. So it was an overlay. But I saw an Android like data, Lieutenant Commander data from Star Trek, going to the computer, and then this leading figure went there and helped him target the billions and billions of worlds in the universe. And then they set it off. They fired. And billions of worlds were destroyed at the blink of an eye. Of course, after this episode I had a vision of resurrection. So it's always destruction and resurrection. Probably it's going to be like here, down here on Earth as well. And in other visions I saw Death Stars, like in Star Wars, fighting it out on a normal level, well, on the galactic level, not on the universal level, not that huge empire that built its super weapon. There were multiple levels, yeah, galactic level, universal level, local level, and I had visions in most of them. Yeah, that's incredible. I brought it actually down, and maybe one day I'll write a book about this. But I just wanted to share this. And other visions I saw Death Star type planets, well, metal type planets that were used as weapons. And then I researched online on the myths and legends of Phaeton, the planet that was in between Mars and Earth. There's an asteroid belt now in it, and they said that it was these ancient legends, the ancient Sumerian tables say that there was an extra planet in the solar system in between Mars and Earth. And legends even go further and say that they were destroyed. This planet was destroyed in some type of war. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to share. Thanks for listening and cheers.